mildly gothic, and let's do an art thing. I'm painting a commission. So if you are new here, hi, I'm mildly gothic. I like to do a variety of artsy things, and today I am going to show you part of the process of mostly getting ready for a commission that I'm doing for a friend slash coworker. We met as coworkers, we've become friends. So he has built a bar in his garage, like completely himself. It's modular, so he can take it down when he doesn't need to have the bar set up. But because of the supports and everything he built, it's kind of ugly. No offense, but not that he's watching this. But it's just, you see the wood structure exposed. So he wanted something cool to kind of cover it. And it's a little kind of horseshoe shaped bar. And the ideas he had was 3 different images. So the first one, if you're looking at it from the longest image, is a panoramic view of the Bama Stadium. He's a Bama fan, so that's his college team. Then the front part of the bar is going to be a space theme. It's going to have the Saturn V, it's going to have a little monkey astronaut, it's going to have the Earth and the moon, it's going to be super cool. And the last side is going to be an iconic image that is the helmet catch picture that features the Giants and the Patriots from some Super Bowl. I don't remember which one because I don't sports, but it's a sports bar, so 2 of these are sports themed and one of them is just near and dear to his heart. So these things are huge. I don't know if you'll get a decent scale, but these plywood boards are huge. And they didn't start out like this, as far as like looking like this with the paint. So this video is going to be showing you how I prepped them, kind of my plan for attacking them, as flawed as it has been, and kind of where I am now. Clearly, they're not done. This is going to be part 1 of hopefully not too many pieces. There's a somewhat of a deadline to get some of them done by the first Bama game of the season. We'll see if I make that. But regardless, I've never done pieces. I did a mural on my wall, obviously. If you haven't seen it, please go check it out. But I've never done anything this big, 3 different things, and this detailed. Because like I did the ships on the mural, but the ships were really, really small, so I could pack a lot of detail into a small area. These, the detail is scaled up. People might be looking at these much closer. So the detail, I need to get it in a small area, but over a larger surface. So there's a lot of complexities. There's a lot of new things going on here, but honestly, I'm pretty excited, and I can't wait to show you. I think there's a plane that flew overhead, but I'm very excited now. I wasn't, you'll see, but I think we're on a very good spot right now, so I hope you stick around and check it out. So here is an overview of the way we're going to do this in my garage. So my friend who gave me these boards actually went ahead and numbered them. And so I have them laid out 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. The reason they're laid out like this is those 2 small panels are actually going to be one image with that big panel. So I want to make sure those are kind of near each other. And then that's a solo image. And this one will also, as I trip over cardboard, be a solo image. First step, I am going to seal them. And then I will be using layers of gesso to make this a good surface for me to paint. All of the tops are pointing that way, which, you know, as I may rotate them and stuff, they are labeled on the back, but I at least wanted at a top level, just kind of a way to identify the orientation of these. And I put them all down on cardboard because I figured it'll be easier to slide them around the garage if I need to move them at all, and just protect my garage, hopefully, from paint and or splatter, because I'm a messy person, especially when it comes to painting, especially when it comes to large pieces. I'm going to prep them all right now at the same time, but when it comes to painting, I'm going to be doing that one first. But I don't know how much of this process I'll film because it's my garage and it's summer and it's hot in here. So, you know, it's just not, the audio is not going to be any good, and I don't think it's going to be easy to get a good angle on any of this. But I'm going to go ahead and put the sealant on all of these. Pretty sure I'm in frame. The boards have been sealed, and if you'll notice, they're a little bit of a different color. And so next is gesso. So I'm going to wipe them down lightly. They've been in here, it's like a month later. It's probably more just like a few weeks. But I have my gesso here, and so I'm going to wipe these down with a paper towel to kind of remove any schmutz from the top. and we are going to put this on. I am planning on doing 3 coats on all of the boards. So we're gonna start with the first one and go from there.
So when it came to apply the gesso, I decided to use a brush. I bought a variety of brushes for this purpose. I bought some pretty cheap ones that with artificial bristles. I bought some nicer ones that were more like for high quality stains. I don't remember which one I ended up using. I think I ended up using the cheaper one because I figured if it completely fell apart, then at least it wasn't that much money. Because gesso is really, really thick. And when you apply it, there is a directionality to the way that it gets applied. So, as my mom told me, because I did call her for some advice on this project, you want to apply gesso in such a way that the last coat goes in a direction, the brush strokes go in a direction that aligns with your painting. So if your eye should be drawn vertical, make sure your last coat is is in the vertical direction. If your eye should be drawn horizontal, you want it to be horizontal. I decided on, I believe, horizontal as my final coat, and because I thought that I was going to do 3, so if I did horizontal, vertical, horizontal, I started with horizontal so that I would end with horizontal because it was an odd number of panels. This was a relatively easy process and also a very mind-numbing process to actually get the boards covered, and it became really difficult on the largest of them to actually cover it evenly and consistently because I could not brush from the edges to the middle in one stroke. It was too far for my arms. But overall, that's how I applied every coat of gesso, just changing up the directions because you do see those brush strokes. In between each layer, though, you sand. And the way I chose to sand, I do have a powered wall sander. I chose not to use it for this project. I don't know why. I genuinely didn't think about it until afterwards. But what I did use instead was they make these little mounts for sandpaper. They're for sanding your walls, and so they attach to painting sticks. And so I just attached sandpaper to this little mount, put it on my painting stick, and that's what I used to sand the boards. Ended up working pretty well. It's already designed to stay flat, and because I'm not working on a wall, I'm working on the ground, gravity helped a lot, and so I didn't actually have to put too much force into it other than the motion of dragging it back and forth across the page. But this took a while to get all of the prep done for this because, again, I don't know if it's actually been said at this point in the video, I did 5 coats of gesso by the time it was all said and done.
So, I'm sure I said it earlier, apologies for the mess. This is obviously our garage. I've learned a couple things as far as sanding this goes. One, I am not ambidextrous when it comes to holding a sanding thing. The right, is it this way? Oh god, now I can't even, no. This way seems much, no, I lied. This is the better way. Dominant hand on the top of the thing to kind of be the driving force versus my non-dominant hand, which means my right shoulder is getting very tired, especially because that's the same arm that I'm using to actually paint the gesso, because gesso, fun fact, like it's supposed to be, is really thick. So spreading it across the surface actually takes like a good bit of force, especially if you're trying to get it nice and even and consistent. So with this second coat and sanding, there are some boards that have a lot of, I guess, texture still left in them. So I'm going to try to be very liberal and thorough with this coat and make sure things get nice and covered and are even across the board. Because I'm hoping that I can stop after 3 coats. I did think about doing a final tinted coat of gesso, so that way there's kind of an underpainting to it. Which the interesting thing is it arguably should be different colors for all 3 images. I think 2 of them could have a nice yellow undertone because one of them is having figures on it, and so those human figures obviously tend to have a skin undertone. And then the stadium is going to have a sunset behind it, so also yellow would work there. For the space one, I can probably just leave that white because I'm literally about to paint the entire thing black. And then work on top of that. So I toyed around with that. I'm not too sure what I want to do with that because I've never done an underpainting before, and maybe I should limit the number of new things per project. So we are just finished sanding, so I gotta wipe them down, make sure they're nice and smooth, and then we're gonna hopefully last coat of gesso. I probably won't figure that out until I sand it, because if those show up again after I do my next sanding, then I think we're gonna keep going for coats of gesso. But I got a big tub of it, so I think we'll be okay. Also, Mom, if I'm doing any of this wrong, I'm sorry. My mother has a Master of Fine Arts degree, and this is more of her world as far as like actually prepping and doing stuff with canvases. So hopefully I'm doing it good enough. So we'll see. I'm excited. Things are going well. It apparently doesn't matter how much I prep, I will get supplies all over the place. I have gotten, there's a lot of stuff that has gesso on it. Luckily, it's only the floor things. None of the surrounding stuff has had any incidents. I say I'm probably gonna find one. But we are trucking along.
So here we are, a full tub of gesso later. That tub is completely empty. And I ended up doing 5 coats on all of these. Just because I sanded them down, because on one board, this one in particular, you can see this line going all the way up. And so that is a line that was raised texture, and I spent a lot of time sanding that down after the 3rd coat, because I guess in touching it, I didn't realize how actually raised it was until then. So I think it's still a little visible. The thing is, this is one of the boards that's going to be painted black, as well as these other 2 small boards. I think I'm just going to go with it. I think it'll be okay. So am I going to eat that later? Maybe. The other board that has a spot that's kind of annoying me is this one. This board is this, which I should have filled in, but I didn't. So that's there. I'm debating what I want to do with that. This isn't fully dry, so I probably shouldn't be touching it. But it's almost dry, and once all of these are dry, I get to start sketching. My plan is to start with this one, because this one will have the sunset on the top, which will be pretty easy to do and kind of has my little thirds already marked out for me, so I can see about how far down I need to go. And then those are going to get painted black. I'll probably draw out where I want the planet to go, because I don't know that I'm going to base the planet out in black. That might actually be nicer to start with that based in white. And then this one, I get to do all the splotchy, fun background. And this one, I'll probably be doing the background over the entire board before I even start the sketch of the figures on it, just because I think that'll make my life easier. But we'll see. But yeah, 5 coats of gesso. A lot of time and effort, and now we get to a sunset.
So, I've had mixed thoughts on which one to start with, and I'm going to start on this one. It got a little marked up because I had to put these up for, I live in the South, so it's tornado country. So I had to put these up so that I had floor in my garage so that I could actually like put my car in here so it didn't get hit with hail. So just with that, we are going to start with this one because this will be the helmet catch, and the background of this is going to be the most straightforward. It's super fuzzy, bunch of blobs, and so my hope is that I don't have to really think about where the figures are going because I can just paint white to kind of re-outline them. But I'm going to try to cover basically this board in fuzzy blobs. And so I'm probably going to mix some colors, but what I have to start, I've got crimson, pale terracotta, Mars black, Naples yellow, raw umber, Windsor blue, and raw sienna. Those are the ones I have on with me. I have a palette right there, so I'm going to probably mix some things up. The vibe is fuzzy circles, because arguably they're supposed to be human shaped, which is why I have these 3 colors. The Naples yellow, raw sienna, and pale terracotta. If you look at the reference image, there's a bunch of different shades of kind of yellows and like tans and pinks. So those are to hopefully represent that. The blue and crimson, and the raw umber is a mix of skin tone and then also like accents in outfits. Because the other thing is the blue and the crimson are kind of tying into the details. So I have kind of 2 for outfit details. I have this myriad that is outfit details and skin tones. And then I have black because it looks like a lot of darkness is, there's just a lot of black. So I don't know how big to make the fuzzies. I don't know how distracting to make the fuzzies, but this is probably going to be done in layers because I kind of need them to overlap with each other a little bit. So I'm going to probably start with these 2 because these are the ones that will go underneath things the best because they're the palest, and we'll go from there. It'll give me a lot of wiggle room in figuring out and making mistakes. So I'm going to pick these, and I'm probably going to start on the edges and kind of work my way in. I will look at the reference image again. The board's also warped a little bit, which I'm not the happiest about, but I can't, we'll see what I can do on that. Gotta get rid of the schmutz on the board. I don't think those are gonna be too big of a deal. I have some pencils. These are solid graphite pencils. I have them in a couple different, I have HB, 2B, 6B, and 8B. If you don't know what the numbers in art pencils means, when it's basically B is soft, H is hard, so HB is like, it's kind of, pretty sure HB or 2B are the ones you use to write in like school a lot. And then when you go from that, the higher the number next to the B means the softer the pencil. So an 8B pencil, you just need a very light mark and it'll leave a very dark mark because the lead is very soft. Versus a very high number with an H means that it's a very hard pencil, and so a very light mark, light touch, leaves a very light mark. So the harder the pencil, the more you have to press to get a dark mark. The softer the pencil, the lighter the touch, and you get a really good mark. So I have these, and then that's a little piece of sandpaper, which I think I can use to file these. I'm not sure. So that's what I have to kind of sketch out my area. I want to be cognizant of where the football players are, but I'm not too worried about it because they are going on top of the background. So yeah, I'm gonna make a background.
So I haven't been recording because I don't know what I'm doing, and this kind of looks like a kindergartner's attempt at abstract art, but I've come back to it after a little bit. I screwed up my blue, so that's gonna get fixed probably with not a blue color. But I think this is one of those of just need to commit and keep going with the chaos, so we're gonna do that. Also, one of the last things I'm gonna do is there's gonna be white swirls on it as well, because there are white like blotches in the photo. So yeah, I think I just need to commit and lean into it harder, and I am gonna go over some of these and give them more color and intensity. But I think the answer right now is more, and so we're gonna do more.
Welcome to my garage. It's been a minute. So, it's probably been, I'll check the timestamp and put it on screen. It's been at least a month, if not a month and a half, since I last recorded something for this project. And I say recorded, not worked on it, because if you can tell, they look different. I hit an art block, and I got terrified. These are technically a commission. I will be paid for working on these. They're also bigger and in some cases more detailed than anything I've really done before. And so once I got to the point of prepping them enough so they could be painted, I panicked. I froze. I was terrified. I was like, oh my God, what if I screw it up? Now is like the point of no return. I'm probably getting bitten by something. So I stopped. I stopped recording. As much as I like filming, and half the process is showing you my process and kind of the ups and downs that I go through, this one felt like extra pressure because of the financial side of it, and then also the filming side of it. It was, I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm actually not in a fun, like, let's figure it out way, but in a, oh God, someone's paying me for these, and I don't know if they're gonna turn out well or not. So I stopped filming. But I'll give you an update on where they are now, because I am in much, much, much better spirits about these, and I can't wait to share that with you. Part of the other thing is I don't know how to film these because they're so large and I don't have my good top-down setup down here, but we'll figure it out.
Okay, so up first is the footballers, and it doesn't want to focus. So what I have here, what I've done is I've actually applied a grid layout. It's really hard to see, especially if my hand's in frame, but you can kind of faintly see that there's grid lines. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 across and 5 down. And what that let me do was sketch out the proportions and kind of where, no, we just don't want to focus. Okay, focus on the football maybe? There we go. Focus on the drawing and figure out where they were going to go, because this one, being people, is really, really important to get anatomically correct. I'll put the reference photo on screen if I haven't yet already, as far as what this one is going to look like. And so of all things to start with, I decided to start with the football because I felt like color-wise, scale-wise, that would be a good place to start and actually give me some confidence that this thing might turn out all right. And you know what? I think we're onto it, at least if my finger isn't in frame, because like I'm really, really happy with how that works. And so I think I'm going to work with the hands next and literally build it from the top down, because once I get this guy figured out, this one is basically in reference to him. So this one needs to be in place first, and then all of his colors and all of his positioning is kind of dependent on where this guy ends up. So I'm going to do him first, and then we'll get over to that guy. So Giants, Patriots. This one is going to be the stadium. And so I have aggressively sponge brush painted the beginnings of a sunset just so I could get something down. And then I have this gray paint. Oh, the other thing I didn't mention, you'll see in the other footage, I forgot, this one doesn't have a background anymore. I painted over it. This is bare wall paint. I picked two colors. We'll get to the other one. But this gray, it's going to give me a nice foundation, and I'm basically using it as an underpaint. And so I will paint the stadium and everything on top of it. So if there's any little gaps or anything, they won't show through as white. They will show through as gray. I also hated the background that I was doing on this, and I decided this made more sense. What I was doing before, I don't know. I don't know why I was doing it, but we're doing this now because I think this already looks a million times better. The final one we have over here is space. And so as you can see, I painted the boards with a bare black wall paint. And then this is actually that same gray. I used it to base out. I did the moon as well, based it out in this gray. And then this will be my earth, and I'll have the rocket right there. I'm debating basing the rocket out in gray as well because it'll give me something really nice to build my whites up on top of. And there's a little monkey knot. I have to figure out how I want him to sit. But I'm pretty happy with the moon, especially after coming back to it. I walked away from it earlier because I was getting a little stressed. I think that actually looks really good coming back to it. So this is going to be the earth. This, I think, is what I'm going to tackle next because regardless of where the rocket sits, I need the earth. So I think I'm just going to do my earth next and go from there. So this is kind of the progress of where we are. I painted all of the boards a background, so now all of the boards have some background color, and I'm picking distinct small areas to build up from. So for the moon, this is literally just gray, white, and black. That is all the colors I used in there, and I did get some gray on the side over there because I'm messy, and it's not quite a circle yet, but that's okay. And so this one, I'm going to do that nice blue fuzz that's our atmosphere. But yeah, at this point, every board has some color base on it. And honestly, I think this has been crucial in changing my motivation for this project. White can be so intimidating, but with a color, it's not white anymore. So I can start on this canvas and go. And this isn't the most perfect job. There's some little imperfections in there. That's okay. It's going to get covered up. I just needed a base so that all my blues and my greens would really pop on top of them. So I thought this would be really nice. But overall, yeah, there's Saturn V. We'll figure out the monkey knot where he sits. I have to decide logistically if I want to, I think I want to do the earth first and then block out kind of my engine section. So I'll probably redraw where the engine section, it comes to about here. So there'll be some flames of the earth goes, but I would always rather paint more colors on top of it than accidentally not take my colors all the way up to the line because the rocket's white and it might be difficult to keep it that way. But yeah, I'm really happy with the progress that I've been able to make so far, and fingers crossed we keep going with this. This is a weird one, because honestly, I kind of got to a point where I didn't think I was going to be making a video with these anymore. It's been a long process already. There's a lot to go so far, but I am actually finally making what feels like tangible progress, and I'm very excited. So I hope you stick with me. Hopefully more progress to be coming soon. But this video has been months in the making because of how long it's taken me to get through all of this. I think I got these boards in April. Yeah, so I've been holding on to them a long time. My coworker is a saint and very nice and very patient with me. So hopefully the final result he feels is worth it. I think I'm gonna kind of mostly continue the space board next because I have the most clear direction on that, where we're going. Humans are scary because they gotta look like humans, you know, even though I'm not really planning to do a super detailed face, but it's still gotta look like people. It's gotta look like the image. And if the football's any sign, I think I'm off to a decent start. So maybe we'll be okay. Anyways, regardless, this is a weird one, but thank you so much if you made it to this point in the video. I have not watched the footage of
what I did to process these boards up until whenever I go to edit this. So I'm really sorry for whatever monstrosity chaos video you just witnessed. But it means so much to me that you're still here and sticking around. Thank you so much. And yeah, we're gonna keep working on this. I have some ideas coming up for Halloween, but I am too nice of a person and keep putting myself into social engagements and situations where I don't have time to work on other things. So I don't know if I'm gonna get to do what I want for Halloween this year. Fingers crossed. I have big cosplay plans that I haven't even dreamt of getting started yet. So I don't know what's coming. I don't know what the rest of the year is gonna look like. Chaos, I know that much. To all the lovely people I have plans with, I'm looking forward to them very, very much. Please do not think that I am not looking forward to them. However, it does mean that my content may suffer. That doesn't mean cancel your plans on me. I know who you are. Don't do it. Regardless, thank you so much for getting to this point in the video. It truly, I say it every time because it really does. It means the world. I love engaging with the comments and seeing what people have suggestions for. I've gotten actually a lot of useful tips out of the comments, and I hope if I find it useful, that someone else finds it useful. So if you have any suggestions, helpful tidbits, random sayings because you want to, leave them in the comments down below. I think it's really fun. The engagement means the world. And hopefully that means I will see you in the next one.